guys are on the money, consistently posting. Like I see you guys, I give you credit. You're always like every day. There's always something new I see, and I love it. So keep it up.
Thank you.
Oh, thanks, man. Appreciate that, bro. Yeah, it's honestly, it's a lot of the stuff that you've posted, Eric. It's just habit. At this point, it's automatic. So
right, yeah. I think the big thing too, and you guys probably attest to it. The more you have that mindset, and the more you're just consistently doing, like you said, the habits that just consistently going. Waking up at a certain time. Whatever time that is for you. Carving times of your day to do things, right? So like I eat breakfast around the same time every day. I go to bed around the same time every night. That stuff adds up. If you do that consistently over time, like that's where you'll see more results, whether it's in the gym or just in general, your overall daily life, right? So
absolutely.
Yeah. So that's it. But I appreciate you guys having me on. I feel like it's a long time coming. It's just like
absolutely, yeah.
I feel like we've been playing phone tag for like a year. It feels like Jesus to get everything together. But glad we're even with COVID, and I know it's harder to get together. I'm glad we're doing this. So one of hopefully many appearances. Hopefully we can do it in a live.
Oh, we will. Yeah, definitely.
Oh, absolutely, man. Oh, 100%. Well, Eric, I feel like you just gave us a little snippet of your TED Talk. I feel like that was a good drop the mic moment.
Thanks, man. So, appreciate it.
Good stuff, dude. All right, Sean, you got your beverage?
I do.
Oh, let me grab a beverage. I was already. Is there anything specific, or are you guys drinking right now?
I got 603. It's I didn't realize I still had one of these. It's from a New Hampshire brewery. It's just a nice IPA.
All right, give me 2 seconds. I'm gonna grab a beer real quick.
Yeah, absolutely.
Sounds good, man.
Yeah, I found this in the cold cut drawer. I didn't know it was in there.
Dude, that's awesome.
I know. It's a happy accident. How about you got your
cold? Yeah.
Yeah.
I was trying to think of a clever pun. Cold cut. I can't think of it. There's a pun there somewhere.
Give it time.
All right, so I got a Mohawk number 5. It's a New England IPA.
Oh, love it.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, so my parents live in upstate New York, and this is from that area. It's from I think it's Schenectady, New York. Yeah, Schenectady, New York. So
nice. I love different kinds of beers all the time. That's another perk to the show,
Absolutely. Did you guys pop it open? I'll pop on you guys if you're ready.
Yeah, man. Sean, take the lead, man.
What's up, guys? Strength of Purpose here for another episode of Beers and Bells. We'll crack it open now. Go.
Yep, mine's open.
All right, so we have our esteemed guest that we've been trying to get on here for quite some time now, and 3 times already we've mentioned that he'll be a recurring guest at some point. We'll get another episode in there. But before we get started, to further introduce Eric, just want to remind you guys of the 1,000 subscriber challenge. So once we hit that number of subs on our YouTube channel, we will pick 5 winners out of all the subscribers, of course, to win 3 prizes. One of which is the Strength with Purpose shirt that we had rolled out a couple months ago, whenever that DeMarco and I are not wearing at the moment, but I'm sure you guys know what it looks like right now. Next up, 5 free personal training sessions, whether that's on Zoom or in person, hopefully at some point, ideally. And then from what we work on, depending on what your goals are, we can tailor a 3-month program to, again, further kind of work on what we did in person or on Zoom or whatever, and then after that, hopefully keep you on as a full-time client, just kind of go from there. So keep hitting that sub button so we can finally pick 5 of you guys, get some of those prizes rolling out. So again, we got Eric here, little background on how we met, and as well as DeMarco. It was I don't know. I probably met you a little bit before DeMarco did, obviously, because he came a little bit afterwards. But Eric was a trainer at a different Boston sports clubs. I started at Wellington, and he had a couple clients at my gym, but he was primarily over at Woburn. And then, you just kind of started picking up some more clients at our gym, so you were around a lot more. You actually passed off one of your Gronk classes to me, so I took over one of his Saturday classes. Can't thank you enough for that, because I definitely had a good crowd coming, and just allowed me to further my training experience in the class setting at a time where I was pretty much just starting out as a fitness professional. So personal trainer, whatever. So that was really cool. DeMarco, when can you remember the first time you met Eric?
Yeah, absolutely, man. It was on a Saturday. Cicciu was in there training. Actually, I think you were just in there working out. I think you were in there just like getting the lift on, and I saw you. I can't remember what we were doing, barbell work, and you started talking about Mike Boyle, which we'll definitely get into in a little bit. I started talking about Brett Contreras, and we nerded out over different loading schemes and talking about conjugate versus linear periodization, having fun with that, and yeah, we just hit it off. I feel like Eric and I immediately noticed that we were both a couple of dorks, like nerds and kind of geeks, and we definitely immediately it was perfect. So I'm not surprised that and I'm not that Eric's a successful trainer because he's like me in that he's like really good at talking to people. In fact, all three of us, it's hard to get us to shut up.
Pretty much, yeah. I'm curious as to how long this episode is going to be.
Yeah, as I say, talk to Jimmy. Jimmy's like, I don't shut up, so he's probably one to agree with that.
Jimmy is our biggest fan of all three of us collectively.
Oh, he really is.
But just one more thing.
He talks a lot of smack, but he watches every episode, man. He talks so much smack.
I'm sure he does. He's one of our.
He quotes us. He quotes our episodes. I know he watches them.
Yeah, he has to. Yeah, so I can't wait for him to watch this one, but. The goal is to eventually get him on here as well. Maybe we'll do a follow-up episode with you and have him be there too. But yeah. Just one more thing I want to mention about Eric, just that popped in my head before I forget, and then we'll kind of let you take over a little bit.
Yep.
Eric, great trainer. He, I always knew him as like the top trainer over at Woburn because that's how someone had introduced you to me, like indirectly. So I was like, oh, that's the guy. And then Eric has helped me on my deadlift a bunch at a time where I understood the movement, but apparently not all the nuances and stuff. So he definitely helped me transform my deadlifts and pull weight that I didn't think were possible at first. After just a couple tweaks, you got that second set of eyes on you, someone of an experienced trainer, and it's cool to see what doors that can open for, like I said, just a couple of tweaks. So I think about all the time as far as like what I can pull now on the deadlift and how comfortable I am thanks to some of the stuff that you showed me. And I apply some of those cues you've given me to any client I work with, really. So that's just something that popped in my head. So Eric, we'll have you kind of introduce yourself a little bit further, kind of talk about, go ahead.
I'm going to cut in really quick, and it's really funny. Eric actually helped me with the same thing, the deadlift in particular. I definitely hit a plateau and the weights weren't budging. And I was finishing my sessions and my lower back was getting sore. And I kind of had a feeling something was slightly off. And then this is just how cool Eric is. He wasn't, how you get the unsolicited gym advice dude that like, yo, bro, you need to be like doing it this way, yo. You get that guy.
Yep.
Eric definitely wasn't like that. He said, hey man, he was like, he asked first and definitely came from a place of being humble and helpful. Yep. And he actually was the first person that ever noticed that I was going into a little bit of hyperextension on my deadlift, particularly on the lockout. I was overemphasizing, and he was the first person to ever see that. So that's something that I started working on, and which is great because I did end up hurting my back, but had I not noticed it sooner, it probably would have been worse, and it probably would have been during a heavy pull. So, but I remember Cicciu told me, he said pull your rib cage down, and it's funny because I never heard that cue before. But after Eric said it, I swear to God, every other coach was saying the same cue, like pull your ribs down.
It just makes sense,
So so very helpful for me too, man. That was like just a game changer. So.
Appreciate it, guys.
Yeah. So Eric, kind of just talk through. I'll have you just start off with some of the certifications you have, that kind of thing, and maybe why you got into fitness in the first place. Let's start there.
Sure. Yeah. So I'll bring it back not too far back, but I'll bring it back enough, like probably because you guys didn't meet me until probably 2016, maybe 2015, around there. So I'll bring it back a few years in college. I was an undeclared major. Initially, actually, I was like thinking the athletic training route. And it kind of hit me. I was like, I think it was around my junior year where we're like, okay, we're supposed to declare what we want to do. And like, I started training some of my college buddies at the local gym at my college. I went to Castleton in Vermont. And I noticed, I was like, it started with like one kid. And then I just started like again, just being a people person and just communicating with a lot of people at the gym at the college. I started doing that more regularly. I was like, oh, like this is, this is fun. Like I enjoyed sort of like designing plans, even though I didn't really have a certification. I was still in school, but I felt like I already had a passion for it. I was already, as you had said, DeMarco, kind of like that nerdy, like, okay, I want to learn more. Like what's, why does this work for this person? Why does this not work for this person? So I just kept like, reading more and more and just being like, okay, like how can I do this long-term? Right. So, after that, so I ended up declaring exercise science as my major. And I think I can kind of bring Sean to this. Nick Adragna, and Nick Adragna went to college with me.
Yep.
And he's the one that sort of referenced me to Mike Boyles, actually, because he'd always talk about Mike Boyle. We both interned for Spartan Race in college. So my senior year.
Cool.
Yeah. So that was a big kind of stepping stone for me, because I was working under Joe DeSena. Joe DeSena is really big. He's the CEO of Spartan Race, and his headquarters was in Pittsfield, Vermont, and I went to school at Castleton. And a lot of my professors were co-founders of Spartan Race, or at least had some affiliations with it. So that became like the next stepping stone forward. And like I said, I was good friends with Nick Adragna, and he's like, dude, like, I work seasonally at Mike Boyles in Woburn, Massachusetts. And he's like, just talking highly of Mike. And like, I was still I saw articles and I knew a little bit about Mike, but it was really cool when I would watch his videos, Mike Boyle videos, and I continued to just want to learn more about him. And I was like, this is pretty cool. So when I graduated from Castleton, I'm still in contact with Nick. We're like, pretty good friends. So I was like, hey man, like, I'm thinking of applying for an internship for Mike Boyle. Like, I think that might be a good way to sort of segue into strength and conditioning, which I kind of saw myself heading in that direction. He's like, dude, just go online, apply. Like, worst case scenario is they say no, and you could try again, another season, because it's a seasonal thing. So you could try again in the spring or whatever. So I applied in the spring, didn't get it actually initially the first time. And I just kept putting work in. So certifications, I got certified through AFA, which is, I don't even know if they still have that. It's like Aerobics and Fitness Association of America. It was one of my first certifications. It was actually back then. It was 2013. It was a pretty big deal. You had to do it was a written exam, but there was also, you had to show up and you had to literally show movements and really show that you knew what you were doing. So once I got certified there, this is, like I said, circa 2013. I was like, oh, I at least I'm getting more experience now, and I felt like I could make that step forward. So I applied for a YMCA position for a wellness coach / personal trainer. So then I was there for probably about 6 months. I'm still like reading about Mike Boyle. I want to learn more about him. I'm like, I need to apply again for this internship. I really want it. So, like I said, I put a lot of legwork in, just learning more about him. And one of the things you had to do to get even hired to work for Mike was you had to do a 3-minute video sort of showcasing your why behind, wanting to be there, and what your qualifications were and why you were a good candidate to work there. So, like I said, I had done a lot of legwork. So I felt like, I had already applied once, didn't get it the first time. So I had a little bit more confidence going into it the second time. And I got it the second time. And I started fall 2013 and I haven't looked back since. I've was there for about 2 years. And after I interned, I got hired there. So it was a 4 or 5 month internship. And then they hired me. So I started in Woburn, and then I was in North Andover. And North Andover was like the main, at least for me, my main facility. I was in Woburn a little bit, but I was mostly in North Andover once I finished the internship process. And I was there for a while, and like I still talk to a lot of the coaches there now. I mean, they're a lot of them I look up to still, and they were kind of my mentors, all of them. I think all of them had helped me in some way. And I had learned early on too when I first started there. A lot of my friends in the industry, that were doing other things, they're like soak up as much as you can from Mike. As far as whenever he had a staff meeting, which was every week, I was writing notes and I was, being consistent with that and just picking brains of other coaches that were, had been doing it longer than me and were sort of segged the pathway for me moving forward. So yeah, that was pretty much the big thing. And then just segue into you guys, then going to Boston Sports Club, started there in 2014. So I was actually, like you had mentioned, Sean, I was in Woburn, and I was doing that and Boyles. So I was working both. I don't know how I did it. I was
oh wow.
I was doing thinking back on this just right now is ridiculous. I used to do, so I'd go into Boston Sports Club at 7 a.m. So that's not that bad. I know you guys do other clients, but I'd go 7 to noon. And at noon, I would leave Woburn, drive to North Andover to Mike Boyles. I get there probably around like 12:31. I would try to squeeze a quick workout in, and then the group started coming in around like probably like 2:30ish. So it was a quick transition from from working out, eating, and then sometimes I'd be like eating while coaching because we were allowed to do that. We had groups of athletes, and sometimes it was just the timing for us. We really would not have a lot of we didn't really have like a designated break. So I'd go right from a workout, real quick eating or just on the go, and then start groups. The group started at like 2:30 and go all the way to like 7 or 8. So 12-hour plus day, and I did that 5-6 days a week. So. Talk about, I mean, I guess for new trainers out there, I think burning yourself out initially, I don't want to say that's what you have to do, but I think you gotta have some skin in the game. I think, to be able to sort of make your own schedule, right? To be able to do what you want to do and when you want to do it, you have to kind of start at that level to sort of get to that next level, right? So I think that's the big thing I learned early on is put that work in now because it'll pay off later on. So
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and then outside of that, Boston Sports Club, I was there for like 4-ish years or so. I stopped working at Mike Boyles due to I was just really busy at Boston Sports Clubs, and my clients I went from because I was initially just like a morning trainer, and then I became that morning trainer and afternoon/evening trainer. So it's kind of an all day thing. So I didn't really have time to do both. And then I got an offer to do the Gronk classes at Wellington. And I was like, you know what, it's not too far. And it's actually kind of heading back to where I live. I used to live in Brighton. So I'd do like my Woburn clients early on, and then I would do Wellington in the afternoon, because then I could just quickly get on the highway and head back to Brighton after Wellington. So that worked well for a while, but it was, again, sort of spinning my wheels, burning out, because I would just work a lot of hours. But like I said, I knew long term that it would pay off. So and I did that up till 2018. I think I remember the last day I was in Wellington. You guys were there.
Yep.
And I was telling you guys I was heading to Lifetime. I had an opportunity at Lifetime. I got recruited to work there, and I haven't really looked back. It's been a great experience, and a lot of good coaches there, and continuing to learn. I think, as you guys know, we're not experts, quote unquote. We're always learning. I think there's never really a stopping point. I think, as you guys know, you get more seasoned, you've been doing this longer, you sort of like pick and choose your battles and like what really works for you as a coach and what doesn't. And sometimes you have to go back to the drawing board. I think reevaluating your skills is huge. I think I didn't do that the first year or two, really reevaluating are these things working that I'm doing with clients, or whether it's queuing or whether it's program design or whether it's lead generation, all these little things that I think I didn't prioritize initially, but I learned very quickly, especially with the experience I had going into personal training. I think quickly learned how those little things are going to be big in your success moving forward and just in general. So all of that sort of paved the way for where I am now. And like I said, still learning and reading and podcasts and all this stuff are kind of my daily life now. So
I like that you said that because now that I think of it, back in 2017, I think it was when I started as a trainer in general, but specifically Boston Sports Clubs. I guess I didn't really understand, like, I mean, I always love learning about the, like the stuff I'm doing now, but I guess back then, like you were actually a big part of showing me that, you know, to never stop learning kind of thing. Cause like, you know, you're a very personable person and you would always like help me with certain things. And like, we would just talk about, like just all things fitness. So it kind of showed me that, like, you know, you should never settle for being like, oh, I know everything I need to know. Like, you know, you just keep pushing the envelope, keep learning more.
Yep.
And that was around a time where I don't want to say I was like, oh, I don't know if this is for me, but like, you know, you start out, you barely have any clients. It's kind of not demoralizing, but at the same time, you're like, oh, can I actually make a profession out of this? Can I, you know, can I pay the bills and whatnot? But it all came in a time where, like, again, you would kind of help me learn or realize that you should always keep learning. Like, don't just settle and be like, oh, I know everything. I'm not even going to bother. I'm just going to coast by. Like, that's not the case. So it's like, it's nice to be around like-minded people who want to just continue to better themselves so that they can help their clients better themselves. And I think that's definitely how it should be if you're in the industry for the right reason.
Yeah. I think to add on to that, I know DeMarco always touches on this in a lot of the talks that you'll have, like Monday Motivation or something like that, where you mentioned, like, you know, as a trainer, we're in the industry to serve others. Like every once in a while I may post something on about my workout, but at the end of the day, like, I want to help out my clients, you know? So I think, you know, if you're not in it for that, it's like, you know, you have to sort of reevaluate, back to the reevaluation process, and be like, am I doing this as a hobby or I want this long-term as a career? Right. And I think that's the thing. And don't get me wrong, I think it's normal. I think initially when you first start in the industry, like, you want to showcase like things you're almost like trying to show what you know what I mean? It's like, nobody really cares until you show that, like, you're caring to your clients. Like, that's all they care. Like, at the end of the day, like, clients don't care about like how much you bench or like what you do like for all your workouts every day. I mean, it's cool to highlight that sometimes, but that should be a very low percentage of what you're showcasing.
Oh, I agree. Absolutely, man. Yeah, I agree with you 100%, Eric. And I think what you talked about earlier, this is where a lot of, and I was in this camp too. I had no idea what was going to be expected of me and what it was going to take to be successful. But I had days just like yours, man, when I first started. So I entered the industry about when you did. It was the summer of 2013.
Yep.
And I, you know, just got certified, lucked out, got this job at a little gym in Mississippi, and was training. I was the only trainer there, so it was kind of nice initially because I was able to quickly build up my business and start training a lot of people, a lot of different bodies, a lot of different people, and obviously get that experience. Really, just drinking from the fire hose, you know, just straight up trial by fire. Now, later on, it was better when I was at BSC because then I had you guys to network and learn with, and you know, obviously extra pairs of eyes. But dude, I had some long days too, man. I remember our gym opened at 5 a.m. I remember at one point there were 3 of us at this gym, and we were open from 5 a.m. until 8 p.m. Monday through Friday. So I remember going in. For the longest time, we didn't have a cleaning company, we didn't have an opener, and I was dead broke at the time, dude. I like had you know, blown through my savings. I just moved, and my wife gave me a box of cereal bars. These like expired cereal bars from some event or something. And that's all I had to eat for like the first couple weeks before I got my first check. And I remember, man, I would go in at like 4:45 in the morning. I would open up the gym, check people in, fold some towels, get everything set up, do the tanning beds for people, run over, train my 5:30 client, then my 6:30, then my 7:30, and would usually, you know, get done at like 10:30, work out, try to find some time to like read, eat, and do a little bit of productivity stuff, personal development. And then, as you know, man, that afternoon comes right around. You got a 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and I would get done with my 7 at 8, close the place, clean the place, and then get done at like 10 o'clock, and then go home and pass out, and then come back the next day.
Do it all again, over again. Yeah.
So looking back, I wouldn't do it any different. I got so much experience, and it was great, and I just learned so much. But man, it kicked the shit out of me, man. It was so exhausting.
It's nice to not have to do that.
Yeah,
Right.
I think the big thing that I learned even with Boyles is like the coaches would always tell me like you want to gain as much experience coaching early on as you can. Like I used to worry more about the X's and O's and be like, how do I program for this type of client? Or like, you know what I mean? I was more worried about that stuff. And they're like, no, like I understand like that's what you want to do, but like worry more about getting better at just coaching in general. Just, or, you know, if you can become a better coach, the program over time, like, you know, yeah, you want to get better at understanding programming, but like, I think, you know, a lot of younger coaches, again, I think will go into it like over worried about how a program looks and not thinking too much about how to coach and what the best ways to go about it are. Right. And that's the thing. Man. I wish I knew that early on, but I think it's like wishing and shoulda, woulda, coulda kind of thing. Like long term has actually been good because like you said, I think I wouldn't change it because I think that's helped me with growth. I think you got to grow in some way. And that's how most trainers would grow. But, you know, at the end of the day, if I can tell a coach now to be like, hey, like worry more about the coaching side, the programming will come. You'll get better at it. It's just, you know, just don't make that a priority like right away, especially like the first couple of months.
No, you're right, man. And let's be honest, like at Boyles, it was different, right? These are athletes. Like the majority of their life revolves around their athletics. You know, these are they're more athletic than we are, obviously. But like their focus is on athletics. So your program, you can periodize out. You can do like your meso, micro, and macro cycles and all that stuff. And like you could probably have 95 to 99% compliance, but like when you have like a 9-to-5er that has a spouse, that has kids, that has, you know, a career and a family, it's just not going to work that way. Like I remember writing these long programs when I first started. I was so excited about playing around with these set rep schemes. And, you know, let's say it's heavy deadlift day and my client didn't sleep well and their back hurts. And it's like, okay, so we got to scrap the plan. And what's the best thing for the client in front of me versus, you know, just sticking with the program. So,
Yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, like, as I said, what I said, like, you know, yes, like you don't need to make programming like the complete highlight because you want to make coaching highlight. I don't want to say that. Obviously, again, you want to program a little bit. You need to have some sort of template, quote unquote. But like, you know, I think a lot of coaches and trainers just starting out. I mean, they'll highlight too much of the programming aspect, and like you said, like, you know, trying to program out for like months on end or whatever, or even like just trying to periodize a program and not understanding the person in front of them. Like, you know, they have kids or they have, you know, they're not sleeping the amount of hours, and like. That kind of segues for me anyways. I'm thinking about this now is like how these little habits and sort of like these, what I call pillars of health, you know, making those a priority. Like I'll tell clients that, you know, are struggling with sleep and water and all these basic necessities that are going to get them the results. I make those more the priority. I say, hey, like, you know, let's focus on these things and whether it's charting your sleep and your water for a week or two, just to make sure, okay, are we drinking enough water, you know, throughout the day? And same with sleep. You know, are you getting ample sleep? You know, between 6 and 8 hours. I would say most, you know, usually 8 hours are going to be ideal. But even in that window, because if they're not hitting those, like sleep and water, let's say, even just those two things, like the training won't mean nearly as much. You know, the result. You're going to hinder your progress 50% or more. So it's just you really have to. You know, meet the client where they're at, but I think those tend to be the areas of opportunity for most incoming clients typically.
Yeah, absolutely. It's nice. It's nice to kind of just oversimplify it for them in a good way because they think it's have to be this like wicked, intricate system. And for depending on your goals, it can be like if you're trying to make it to the NFL and if you're just an athlete in general, like, yeah, you're going to have a lot more strict system going than someone who's your typical, you know, gen pop person, this and that. But like when you, like I said, oversimplify for them on things like sleep and water, it's like if they're honest with you, which they should be, because they're just doing a disservice to themselves if they're not. If they tell you they're only sleeping 4 or 5 hours because they like to stay up all night and play video games, and then and they touch like 2 water bottles a day and they only drink a half of them, it's like, well, if you get them to change those, you know, they'll start to see and feel the difference is, and it's like they're like, wow, why didn't I think of that? And it's like you just you help them do that, and because it's not hard. Like you may not know the importance of it if you're not a trainer, but to have someone tell you that and show you that, and show you that training doesn't have to be like this, like I said, wicked, intricate, confusing process. They appreciate that they appreciate that a lot more, and they continue to work with you because like you're you're in it for them.
Yeah, I think, to touch on that, Sean, I think the big thing with my clients is weekly emails and articles and you have to meet the clients where they're at. But, I think some clients want more and some just want to get sweat and work out. And I'm okay with that. But I think, understanding where they're coming from and being able to be like, okay, like this person might need more attention and others may not want that. I think, initially when I really started to get it, what I think really worked for me and my clients, I started to like give everybody everything. And it's like, okay, maybe they don't want everything. So I think, you have to have that conversation with your client and be like, okay, like what are you looking for? Like, what do you want from me? Like, how can I ensure you're successful? I usually say like, what's working for you right now? Like what's not working for you right now? And how can I ensure as a coach to make sure you become successful? So I think honestly, those 3 questions are game changers, because once they understand sort of like where you're coming from and what your expectations are. Because if you're setting those expectations, they're gonna be like, okay, like if I don't get the quote unquote goal that I expected, this would be the reasons why, you know what I mean? So I think being able to dig deeper. Again, I didn't do this like the first couple of years. As I say all this, like first couple of years were definitely like I was way too more focused on like program design and like all these other little things. It's like, no, like focus on what their needs are. Like eventually like things will come out. I think over time, like you can tweak something on their program or whatever, but like have a basic template, okay, like fat loss client, like here's the main priorities for that fat loss client, right? And then you could always tweak it. I used to think it's like set in stone when I make a program. It's like, no, like you're going to go back to the drawing board routinely over the course of months, say weeks, even days. Sometimes I'll do a daily estimated max, like let's say they're a client that wants to work on strength. Like sometimes there's certain clients that you can prioritize certain things and others maybe not, just based on what their needs are. And like I said, even asking a couple simple questions could get you pretty damn far if you really ask, if you put the time and effort to sitting. Because I used to think like they have 60 minutes with me, okay, I gotta like use that whole 60 minutes of training. It's like, no, like I need to build that base first and understand like where they're coming from, right? And understand like what their true needs are, right? And that way they're gonna come back. I always thought it was no concedence. I mean, for myself anyways, I realized like that I was able to sort of build that retention at Boston Sports Club with my clients because I would consistently be on them about things. Okay, like whether it's habits that they're doing or not doing, or just in general, just like fitting their needs and asking those questions when need be. But like I said, even as coaches, we're not perfect. I think there's some times where, at least myself, I'm sure you guys can agree, like where I struggle with some things like that. I might forget to ask them about certain things, but as long as you have a basic template and you're consistent with it and you understand where your clients are coming from, like they're going to make the progress, whether it's 3 months or 6 months or 9 months, eventually they're going to make some sort of progress, assuming they're sticking to, the expectations you have for them and what is going to work best for them based on their goals.
Absolutely. DeMarco, got anything?
Man, I think that's all great stuff, Eric. I couldn't agree more. I think this is, again, I feel like I use this tagline every single week, but it's the reason it's called personal training, right? It's personal to the client. And it's going to vary from person to person. Like you have some people that they don't really want to talk much. They just want for lack of a better way of saying it, they want you to kick the shit out of them. They want to work hard. They want to sweat. They want to get it in. And they want, they want every single second of the hour to be them grinding and working hard. Right. They want it to look like a Cam Newton workout montage or Rocky IV or something. Like, that's fine. If that's what you want, baby, let's go. We'll do it. But then you have others. Yeah, if that's what you want, that's it. This is, when you spend the money, when you invest your time, money, and energy into personal training, you're getting our time, you're getting our energy, you're getting our experience and knowledge and everything. You get some people that they just want to talk the entire time, and you're going to struggle to get them to do 3 sets of one exercise. And then ideally, you try to find the balance between the two, right? Yep. You get some people that they're like, hey, I just want to program. I just want to do these workouts. Leave me the hell alone. and check in every once in a while, which of course it's for online training, stuff like that comes in. So no, I think you're right, Eric. That's something I definitely didn't do until fairly recently, was kind of ask more deeper questions as to like, what are your expectations of me and of the coaching? Like, what do you want? Because it definitely varies. You have some, man, one of my clients, I talk about her every single week, man. Marissa, she's a freaking stud. No, she's killing it, dude. She's crushing it. She's down 50 pounds. She went from 0 to 23 push-ups, went from 0 to now like 4 we're about to test her pull-ups on Wednesday. And she's the rare exception of the rule, where when the gym shut down the first time, she texted me and she said, "Hey, DeMarco, I don't want to lose the progress. All the gains that we've made, if you write me a program, I'll do it." And, wrote it up for her, sent it to her, and damn it, let me tell you, man, so I use a training app. I get a notification every time a workout's completed. She did every mother effing workout, literally didn't miss a workout, did it. And we were doing 2 times a week at the time. So she went from 2 times a week to like 4 or 5 times a week on her own. She comes back after the shutdown, and I'm like, "Damn, dude, I don't even know if you need me anymore. You're killing it." She did it all on her own.
Oh no, sorry to interrupt, but if I can have clients that are, able to be compliant for like the course of time and they're self-efficient, then I've done my job.
Yeah. Absolutely. Oh, absolutely. Marissa, at this point, I mean, she could probably pull up like a Google or a YouTube workout program and probably follow it and get great results. So I think part of it's also like, what do you want, right? She has very specific performance-based goals. And we went deeper than just, oh, I want to lose weight or I want to lose fat. Like her, she wanted to be able to do push-ups and to be able to do pull-ups because of a fitness assessment, that she was planning on taking. So it's exciting. No, so you get those people, and those people that fire you up, right? You get freaking fired up training those folks, because they're going to bring their A game every day, no matter what.
Yep. No, 100%. It's like they're like in the NBA playoffs or NHL playoffs, whatever it is, like some sort of big event, and they're just ready to go every single time. It's like no matter what, like you said, like they're going to bring their A game, which is awesome.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
I don't want to say those clients are rare, but I think all 3 of us know they're kind of rare. So it's like, But at the same time, it's like you may have that client that like only sees you once or twice a week, and they're not doing anything else on top of that, just because maybe they lack the motivation, but they're fine with that. And then you're training them for like over a year. It's like, so at the very least, at least they're active 1 to 2 days a week, because they need you there for that, as far as that guidance and that, knowing they have an appointment with you, like they're more apt to do it, this and that. You ideally would like that they do a little bit more, that you would gladly write up for them, but it doesn't always work out like that. So when you have the client that's more likely to want to be with you like 2 or 3 days a week and do the extra stuff, it's like, it's great. Those clients are awesome. And, at the very least, if you at least have some other clients that will do 1 to 2 additional workouts on top of that, it's like, to your point, Eric, it's like you did your job, because you tailored your approach to them as far as like what they want. And that's because they set the expectations when you first meet them. It's like, what do you need from me? Great. And that's why you can continue to succeed with them and train them for longer, instead of like, 3 months and then you're done. You don't want that.
And I think to even add to that, you get to a point, yes, self-efficiency is key, but like, that's the point where you can sit them down again and say, okay, like, we've made this progress. Like, what's next? Like, what else do we want to achieve? Because there's usually endless goals. There's so many things you can come up with, and you can help them come up with other goals if they don't know, what exactly they want. So it's never really over, unless, there's an injury or something that happens. And usually you can continue typically. So.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. No, you're right about that. I remember, again, talking about Marissa again, my stud. For her, weight loss definitely was one of her, fat loss was definitely one of her goals, but we definitely focused on just strength and performance. We almost put it on the back burner, and just so we wouldn't, and I'm sure you guys are probably similar in this philosophy, as far as like when you like weigh yourself every day, and how that can very quickly become obsessive. It could be, you can develop a really bad relationship with a number on a scale. So I really I didn't even want to get into that. I don't want this to be like The Biggest Loser or anything crazy like that. But Marissa, man, she came back and she, after dropping 50 pounds, she PR'd on the deadlift 10 pounds, which, as you guys know, that's really hard to do because your lifts will initially drop a lot whenever you lose weight. So that's actually impressive. And so she PR'd on the deadlift, and then we went from 0 to like, I think she did 15 push-ups. She sent me a video of her doing the push-ups at home.
Awesome.
And I literally, Eric mentioned it. I asked her that question. I said, all right, well, what's next? And she said, well, let's deadlift. I want to pull more weight. I want to get stronger, and let's get to 20 push-ups or 25 push-ups. And then we got into pull-ups, and now she's like doing today's workout, or excuse me, today's workout was let's see, 4, 8, 11, 17 pull-ups. So went from 0 to now our total work volume is, shot through the roof.
Amazing.
So, you're right. There's always the next level. You can always take it to the next level and focus on the next thing. Sean and I, we've trained for what, 3, 4 goals now. We're training on working on our 4th goal, I think.
Yep.
Awesome. Nice.
So
how's that going with you guys? As far as
it's fun.
It's been fun. Yeah, obviously he can answer that mostly, but what from a coaching standpoint, what I'll say is, it's a program that actually was already. I didn't write it up because it's for a different goal, as you I'm sure you followed with the stories and stuff on Instagram. But it's something that I went through myself in an extended version at that, because it's like it's 3 months, but it took me like 6 months to do. So I definitely got a greater appreciation, seeing as it took me longer, and it's cool to see him go through it now and kind of give my bits of advice as far as my experience goes, and just see him, progress from week 1 to now week 9 that we're on now, something like that.
Yeah, it's been fun, man. It's for me, I have to have something to train for. I remember when Eric, you and I first met. I was just kind of chasing numbers on the barbell, which that's fun. I mean, I'm all about squat, bench, and deadlift. Like the barbells is and will always be my first love. I love barbell training. And it'll always have my heart. But been doing more kettlebell stuff with the simple and sinister training, and it's just good to have something to train for, man. Like I'm very, if I don't have a goal to train for, it's very easy for me to slack off and lose it. Versus if a program's written, I'm like, well, if I don't do my workout today, that's gonna be, in my mind, it's like, plus that OCD tendency kind of kicks in. I'm like, I got to do it.
Yeah.
So
100%.
It's good,
It's awesome.
All right, Eric, we don't obviously want to take too much of your time, considering that we know we're going to have you on again at some point soon, just to discuss other things. If a different topic, maybe we'll do an episode just on deadlifting. Like, it'd be cool to just kind of hone in on one thing and have more than one person there to kind of, talk about it and whatnot. But one of the questions that I'm sure you've seen us ask in many of our episodes is basically, and I'll kind of make this like a 2-parter, I guess. In terms of fitness and whatnot, and I guess just life in general, but obviously relating to fitness, what is your mission in terms of for yourself and for your clients? So what you've been doing thus far up until, from day 1 to now, as well as where you want that to take you down the road. So just kind of, dazzle us with what your mission may be.
Yeah. So I think for me, it's just continuing to spread the knowledge that I have to my clients, but, between lifestyle coaching, which has been a big thing, and mindset coaching, and being able to parallel that with my training and doing that, I say across the board, but more or less being able to do that outside of even Boston and being able to reach out. I'm actually in the process of doing a website. So being able to reach out to more people and even people that I'm not training, but much like Instagram would be, a way to get quick feed on health and fitness and awareness and whatnot. I want to be able to branch out more. And I think I have a great network in Boston and I think, some of the surrounding areas in the Northeast, but, being able to make it kind of expand my horizons and continue to coach what I'm doing, but being able to spread that across, more of the U.S., more of that, West Coast. And I have some buddies that, friends that live out on the West Coast that want training and things like that, or want to learn more. And I think being able to bring that, to more individuals would be key. So Like I said, I'm in the process of a website, which I'll put it on my Instagram. I'll put it as like a, link in bio kind of thing, and being able to, getting more people just to get on board. I think, the big thing, like, and I know you guys probably know with the holidays, like people always have the same stories to why they're, like I know DeMarco always says like, why wait till next year? Like start now. It's like, like the time, clock's ticking, but it's like one of those things like, you don't want to wait until the New Year's, because then then you're gonna just probably fall back into your habits. Like you'll start, maybe you'll start good for a couple of weeks, but then you're gonna fall off again. So it's just that same pattern. So I think being able to change that mindset, and I want to be able to reach out to more people and sort of show that I care, and that I want more people to know about this. And I know it's like simplistic approach more or less, but I think a lot of people don't understand like these little things become big things, and how they can sort of incorporate more of this into their daily lives. Just basic principles of everyday life, that your water, your sleep, strength training a couple times a week, and the value that all brings. So like I said, I just being able to spread more of that across the board. So
that's awesome.
I always think, yeah. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, go ahead, man.
I was just going to say, like, I know I've said this many times after asking this question, because we ask it so much, but I always love the answers because they're always at least a little bit different. And to go off of that, it's like it's a question that there really isn't a wrong answer to, but at the same time, it kind of is.
Yeah.
Because to me, a wrong answer would be, and it's not necessarily wrong, but I suppose a wrong answer could be if you basically said like, oh, I'm completely content, I'm not going to change anything, I'm just going to cruise for the rest of my life. Like it's nice to know that we're all very like-minded here, where it's like, I knew the answer was going to be along the lines of like, oh, I'm going to continue to try to outreach and spread my passion for fitness to other people, because again, that's how it should be. Like, I can't imagine just coasting through and being like, oh, nope, I've accomplished everything I want to at, I'm not even 35 yet, this kind of thing. Like, that's just not, to me, that would be more of a wrong answer, obviously. Mm-hmm. So every single time we ask that question, we get solid answers as far as, nope, got to keep developing for myself and for other people. So I always love those answers.
Yeah. I mean, even to add on that, I think, and I'm sure you guys probably have visions for 2021 and whatnot, but I think, writing things down, I know like anyone can like say, oh, I'm going to do this, whatever it is, but it's like, until you write it down, like I always look at it as like a contract. Like, you want to set non-negotiables. Like, okay, like this year, like these are the things I'm going to accomplish. Here's around the time I want to do it. So, it's like have some sort of ballpark date for things. I think some things will be done weekly, but in general, have, okay, like here's some little things I want to accomplish, and here's some bigger things. And kind of like training programs. Okay, here's how I'm going to go about to get to those goals. So I think, having, again, back to the mindset, to me, that's what I want to be able to spread too, is being able to have people understand that the mindset will a lot of times carry over to what your actions actually become. So I think that's really, really crucial for most individuals. I think some people are intrinsically motivated, but I think motivation only gets you so far. And I think you have to be disciplined. Discipline and consistency are key. Like, if you're doing something enough times, you won't even think about it. And that's the key, right? As opposed to like, oh, I'm motivated today, but then like 3 days from now, you're like, oh, I don't want to do that. So it's like, you have to have some discipline, and like, you have to sort of establish these habits and whatnot. I think like, once you're able to do that and do it consistently, then it becomes a habit, and then it's something that sticks with you longer term.
For sure. You're 100% right, man. And Eric, I think you're hitting the nail on the head, man. Talking about habits. I think you mentioned the word habit probably 15 times, and you're right. That's definitely, it's all jokes aside, that's the important factor. Building good habits, like you said, you're going to go on autopilot. Have you read the book, The Power of Habit, by Charles Duhigg?
I have not. I know about it. I mean, I read Atomic Habits. I know about the Power of Habit.
Well, Atomic Habits is also really good, and honestly, like, they both have a similar message. I would say Atomic Habits is like the next one, because it talks about when habits, group together, they build off of each other. But the Power of Habits also a really good book. Just gives you a simple formula for how to build them, and how some companies have used it in marketing really, really well with association. But man, I'm super pumped to have you on the show, man. I think you have a great outlook. I love how positive you are. I'm very selfish. I want certain people on this show because I want to be around people that want to get better, want to learn, want to have fun, and want to move forward and, you know, move the sticks, metaphorically speaking. And so like I'm super pumped to have you on, man. I'm kind of tempted. Sean and I can talk about this later on, but I feel like we might have to have you on as a regular, man. We might have to hire you officially, dude. We'll let our viewers comment below. Comment below if you want to see Eric Cicciu as a regular.
It's funny, like I'm tagging all your guys' stuff, and I was like, I really appreciate it. I think, you know, your vision is much like my vision, so I think, you know, being able to spread this and continue to you know, reach out to more coaches, and you guys go to your breweries and stuff like that. I think all that stuff's awesome, and you know, I try to view every week, and you know, I'm pretty consistent with it. So yeah, I'm glad to be on. I appreciate it again, and I think, you know, whenever, like, let me know, just give me a little heads up, and we'll figure something out.
Yeah, that sounds good. Absolutely. I'm definitely looking forward to that. And to echo DeMarco, yeah, I just want to thank you for coming on. I knew it would be a good talk. And like I said, it'll be many more good talks in the future, seeing as, again, a lot of our values align, and we know you have a lot to say that's going to resonate well with everybody else.
Appreciate that.
Yeah. DeMarco, want to wrap it up?
Yeah, man. So Eric, again, I'm going to thank you so much for being on the show. Great actionable takeaways, great advice that you gave, and really kind of saying the same stuff Sean and I have been saying, but saying it in a different way that'll hopefully resonate with our viewers really well. So just a great message, especially the stuff early on about when you're first starting off as a PT, like personal trainer. You just gotta grind. You gotta get down there and bust your ass. But I also want to thank our viewers so much for watching. Thank you all so much for being a part of this, being a part of the Strong Squad. Want to remind you all of the 1,000 subscriber challenge. So once our channel reaches 1,000 subs, we're going to select 5 winners to win the following. It's going to be 5 free personal training sessions, 1 hour long each, in person or virtual, depending on where you are. The second thing is going to be a 3-month customized program that's going to be accessible via free smartphone app. It's complete with the sets, the reps, everything's going to be on there, as well as an exercise video library. And the last thing, which Sean and I are not wearing today, is the Strength with Purpose shirt. So you'll be able to get the Thor-inspired kettlebell. So, which we can't use that name officially. So, you know, it's inspired, Thor-inspired. So, Cicciu, brother, thank you so much. And we'll see you guys next time.
Thanks, guys. See ya.